Hello, welcome to the Joe Cortez here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment capital and the boxing capital of the world. Today we're going to have something to do with entertainment. First, I was welcome on our show, again, my co-host, Shelly Stevens, and Donna Joy. Donna Joy, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you, Joe.
It's good to have somebody on the show that's going to bring a little life to the story. I mean, you have so much going behind you. You have such a great background behind you. I know you started way back in the days. But we're going to talk a little chapters as we go along the show. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about your background. You actually started doing what back in San Diego?
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
You are originally from New Haven, Connecticut.
I'm originally from New Haven, Connecticut, yes. And I traveled to San Diego, California when I was a teacher for the Arthur Murray Dance Studios.
Arthur Murray?
Yes.
You were a dancer?
Absolutely, yeah. Wow. I traveled across the country. Transferred through the studios and worked for Arthur Murray's in San Diego. Then went independent, and I was married at the time and went into partnership, and we had our own studios for about 10 years. And then after that, I segued into the advertising field and started working in advertising.
Oh. But you were a dancer.
Yes, yeah, ballroom dancing. Mm-hmm.
How about the dancing that's going on today? A lot different than what it was back in the day.
Oh, very different, you know. And but I just love the Latin dancing.
Yeah, I like Latin dancing. I was going to say that I love salsa.
Mm-hmm.
I get up there,
yes, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah, the salsa, merengue, cha-cha, mambo, rumba, Mm-hmm. You name it.
Back in the day when the Mambo Kings were around.
Yeah, and when men danced, men danced back then, you know.
I used to go when I was young. I used to go to a place called the Palladium in New York City.
Yes.
And the Palladium, it's about an hour and a half from Connecticut to New Haven.
Yeah.
But the Palladium was great because they had a lot of Tito Puente,
Tito Puente. I remember Tito
Johnny
Puente,
Pacheco.
Yes.
These are all friends of mine. Joy Pastrana. They had a good salsa bands up there.
And I remember Roseland in New York. Yes.
Right. Roseland.
Yeah, we went to Roseland a few times.
So tell us a little bit about it. So you started with the dance, and then you were with Arthur Murray. Then what happened after that?
Well, like I said, I was in advertising, and I went into advertising and actually started my own little company there and went into video production. It's very interesting because, when you set your sights, what I found in life anyway, is you just basically set your sights in a certain direction and then life will unfold, and you kind of have to work with the times. And, I could remember when I was in the dance business, say for instance, and we wanted to maybe shoot a commercial. But we couldn't shoot a commercial because commercials were so expensive at that time. Then, several years later, when I had my little advertising company, I started seeing that the pricing for commercials were coming down. And I was saying, why is that? Why are they coming down? Well, they were coming down because the equipment was now becoming portable. Mm-hmm. So now we got into a little bit of a production company, and we started shooting little local commercials around town. So as technology advanced and opportunities advanced, experiences advanced. And so this is how my life has always unfolded. I've always kind of set a direction and followed the opportunities. Then the computers came on board. This was in the late 80s. Everything in the industry started to change. Everything in the advertising.
The computers actually really started in the 60s, right?
Well, the computer started in the 60s, but it really didn't start having an impact in the advertising field until the late 80s.
How about now with AI? With AI today? That's an entirely new project.
Completely different transition. Yeah. Completely different, yes. And anybody who's in the advertising field now knows that that is a whole other industry that's going to be impacting. But what happened with me was the computers were coming on board, and it became very evident that I was going to have to learn these computers. So I said, well, I think I'm going to have to go back to school and learn computers. And so I did. And I went to this very small college, and I earned my degree in advertising, my bachelor's at that time, and learned computers. At that time, after I graduated, the school offered me a position to teach, which I thought was very interesting.
And you did that for how many years?
And I started with them, and then 20 years later.
Now, did you San Diego School of Arts?
Yes. It was, at first, it was a very small school. It was called the Advertising Arts College, and then they were bought out by the Art Institutes.
Okay.
And then that's when I became a full-time faculty, and then continued my education, got my master's, and earned my doctorate, and then in the fields of advertising, marketing, and public relations.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, it was time to think about retirement, and that's when I decided
You
to
a baby. You're still a baby, too.
I'm still a baby. I know. I'm still a baby. Still got lots to learn and lots of things to go. And so I came to Vegas and became a stand-up comic. And here I am. And that's how you got me here.
And you were a dancer. You were
Advertising, educator, and now I'm a comic.
And now you're a comic. Tell me a little bit about the comedy stuff that you do now.
Well, it's just been such a fun ride. It really is. There's so many opportunities, again, that are offered here in Las Vegas. When I thought about coming into the field, I said, where else would you go? It's either going to be New York or it's going to be Las Vegas. And since I was in San Diego and I was familiar with Las Vegas, I said, that's where I need to be. Plus, there was a little school here called it was called the Comedy Writing Institute, where I was able to take classes and learn the fundamentals of comedy and comedy writing.
Oh, wow,
and then I met Mike Leonetti from my mother's house, as you well know. I think we all know, we've all kind of met through there.
Yep.
And who gave me the opportunity to be able to work at his place on a weekly basis and kind of work out my little bits every week. I'd go in and work it all out. But then there are other venues around town that I was able to exercise and my comedy, and it's just been fantastic.
Well, I'm not gonna let you off the hook that easy.
Yes.
How would you give our viewers out there a little bit about your comedy? Give me a little bit of your.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm really getting to be known as. I'm really getting to be known as the Cougarlicious comic.
Cougarlicious.
Yes, Cougarlicious, absolutely. Because, ladies, it is a great time to be a cougar. It's a great time to be a
Cougarlicious,
cougar.
here it is, huh?
That's right.
And it says?
Well, I'm going to get to this in a second, all right? Because it's a great time to be a cougar. Because we have no birth control issues, right? We have no birth control issues. I mean, not even the Supreme Court cares what I do with my body. I'm like an easy no-bake oven. Yeah. Pilot lights on, bakery's closed. And you can keep putting in the orders. Be no deliveries being made. And mothers, if you're out there, don't worry if I'm dating your son. He won't be out late. I'll have him in bed by 9:30. But really, Cougar has always had the kind of like the reputation of just older women going after younger men, but it's not so much anymore, I really feel that, if you take a look at the younger women today, I really resonate with women between the ages of 35 to 65, I have to say, because after every time I do a set, women will ultimately come up to me within those age groups and say, you are saying exactly what I'm thinking. There's something going on out there where women are really coming into themselves. They are coming into their own power. So I've established the term Cougarlicious. It's cougar with an accent, okay? And it's basically, Cougarlicious is a woman who stands in her own power, celebrates the divine diva, and enjoys a little eye candy.
I love it.
That's right. So I have these little magnets that I give out a lot in my shows, and I award them to women in my shows, especially when they're sitting with their eye candy.
And it says?
And it says this, it has the Cougarlicious code: a woman who stands in her own power, celebrates her divine diva, and enjoys a little eye candy. And it's given to the women so they could put it on the refrigerator so they could be reminded every single day just how wonderful you are.
Well, that means I'm out of the picture because I'm too old for that.
Oh, you could be the eye candy, Joe. You could be the eye candy. Because a man could be eye candy at any age, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, now what's on the horizon? You got some things happening now for Valentine's. The most lovable weekend.
This is what I'm saying, Joe. This is what I'm saying about this experience we call life. I am so thrilled. Last November, I was in a festival. Now, Kenan Thompson, as you know, from Saturday Night Live, he has a festival. It's called Kenan Thompson Presents. okay? And they host a festival a couple of times a year throughout the country. And last fall, I was in his festival here in Las Vegas. I was a finalist. Okay.
That's great.
In it. Yes, I was so thrilled. Absolutely. Just thrilled with that. Well, now I am in one of his shows, which is at a residency at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. And that will be on the 14th and 15th. And I'll be working with the Kenan Thompson Presents.
They're going to be, we're going to show that on the...
Yes, there it is, and it's called, and it's going to be a show where people will come in and they will vote for the different comics. I'll be on the stage with a couple of different comics, and they will vote again. And it's just a really fun night. Now it's an early show, which is really good. It's a 5:30 show, which is great, and you can just get the tickets right online. Just go to Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club.
So the audience votes for you?
The audience votes, and they also have
Great.
some of their producers there that vote as well.
Nice.
So, and that's great. But they do these shows across country. So what I'm very excited about is, again, it just opens up opportunities for comics across the country. And that's what I'm getting involved with. And I'll be working with them on that as well. So that's... it's just, as I said, you just set your sights in life and you just go with it, and the opportanities will open up. You never know where it's going to take you.
Another chapter of your life.
Another chapter.
I think your last chapter is going to be your best one.
Well, isn't it supposed to be better and better?
Yeah,
That's
Isn't it supposed to get better and better?
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
We have to go to her show, definitely, so we can vote for her.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's good to hear. I mean, I may be a little bit past my prime, but you know, I still got a little spark of the old flash.
Yes, you do. No, you never lose it, Joe.
No,
That's right.
Never,
You are
never
not
lose it.
past
That's
your
it. If you
prime.
don't use it, you lose it. So I gotta keep using it, right?
That's right.
So what else would you like to know?
So go ahead.
I overheard somewhere that you used to do Broadway musicals, which I used to do myself. So I'm just wondering, what shows were you
Well, well, first of all, I'm not a singer. I certainly cannot sing like you. Okay, that's it. You would never want me to sing.
Well, what
okay?
did you do?
Well, it was mostly dancing.
That's
okay,
cool.
yes, I would
Yeah.
dance and I would help choreograph shows.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a show. I used to do a lot of original shows more than Broadway shows.
Okay.
There was one show that we did in Coronado, California, and it was called Some of These Days. It was an original show on the life of Sophie Tucker.
I was just going to
Okay.
say that.
Sophie Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of these
I got
days.
to spend some time with Sophie Tucker
Really?
in Hawaii.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, her and I, she was staying at a hotel. She was performing. She was staying there. She was up in her middle age, and I was a young kid. I was boxing. I went there. I would go to fight a couple of professional fights. And she got to liking on me. I used to pick her up and take her shopping at different places because I was it was a small hotel there, and they had a courtesy transportation, and I was a driver, and I was like a part-time thing while I was fighting, and she said, you know, Joe, you're interesting. I was only 18 years old.
I bet.
And she was not a cougar.
No, that sounds like a cougar.
I
to me.
know.
But I got to meet Sophie Tucker, very nice lady, very sweet.
Well, see, this is what I mean, though. There were many, many women way ahead of their time, okay, as far as that was concerned. Yeah.
She was very, very nice. Sophie Tucker, wow. We
Her
met her.
and Mae West. Mae West was another. Yes, another woman very much ahead of her time.
Yep.
Women who were very confident and very straightforward and just move forward. Josephine Baker, another well-established woman. You know, they just took control of their own life and took charge and went forward with it. But anyway, getting back to your question, that's most of what I would do. I would would do choreography, or I would dance. You know, in the
wonderful.
musicals. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you would the only like whenever I do karaoke, yeah, I do These Boots Are Made for Walking.
All right.
Because
Nancy
Tina
Sinatra.
Sinatra had a very low bar, so I. She couldn't sing very well, and so I figure, I could do that, and I just stick with that.
Oh my God! When you speaking about these women back in the day, it just gave me a flashback. I met Phyllis Diller.
Oh my goodness!
And I was performing in Philadelphia one time years ago when I first met my husband and everything. We were performing at this place, very exclusive place called Harlow's. Back in Philly, it was very popular, and a lot of celebrities used to come there. Like Billy D. Williams was there, and Phyllis Diller. She came up and she was speaking to us and stuff, and I just loved her comedy too.
She was just she was like an everyday woman. I mean, she just really seemed like she was like
she was so for
but
real.
these women broke the mold. I
Yep.
mean, they were just real trailblazers.
Yeah.
Her and Joan Rivers, which is really was really one of my muses. I read a lot about Joan, and I had read a lot of her material and things like this, and some of the things that she said when she was getting into comedy was that now Phyllis Diller. She always would wear those wild outfits, right, with the hair and stuff like that. But Joan Rivers took a completely different approach,
Right.
and she would dress very conservatively, and she would say she would shock the audience because she would come out being dressed very conservatively, and people couldn't believe what was coming out of her mouth.
Right.
And that's kind of the approach that I like, that I
Yeah.
take, this type of thing. But Phyllis Diller was just, but those women, they're very much ahead of their time. Very brave. Very brave women.
You talk about a choreographer. I met a gentleman by the name of Jamie Rogers. Jamie Rogers, he played the West Side Story. He was one of the Puerto Rican guys in the group with the gangs.
Yes.
And he grew up with me in New York in 99th Street, where I was born and raised. And he was,
Do-do-do-do-do.
here comes yeah.
I like to be in America.
Everything's free in America. Yeah. And it was that's the way it was back in the good old days. But one of my favorite shows. I used to go watch. We used to play stickball together in 99th Street, Park in Madison, where I was born and raised. And I used to watch him play stickball with us. Then we go down and see him on Broadway.
Oh, that was incredible choreography in West Side Story. I would watch that.
He was a choreographer for Elvis Presley for some event that Elvis Presley was on. He was a choreographer. That's how I saw Jimmy. But he passed away last year. Yeah.
They're the unsung heroes of a lot of musicals. Because they really give the body of the musical. And people don't really understand the kind of work that it takes to accomplish that, not just for the choreographer but for the dancers. These dancers, they're 7-8 hours a day just warming up before they actually do a show. This type of thing. So
I mean, they had all the moves. I mean, they were saying, I remember Jimmy Rogers was so well built. I thought he was a fighter. He said, come on, join our team with the boxing. He said, Joe, boxing is not for me. I love dancing. But he was really good.
Well, but I mean, isn't it true? I mean, even in football, I mean, seeing as we have Super Bowl weekend coming up, isn't it true that the football players even study ballet?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing that I like about watching football. I like watching them move.
Exactly.
I like that eye candy.
I hear you, Cougarlicious.
I have my grandson, Bryce Hampton. Bryce Hampton is a football player. He just signed up with the Toronto Argonauts, professional football. He graduated from Purdue University 2 years ago. He's 25 years young. I said, you still got a career ahead of you. But I thought, but what? If nothing happens with football, you got a diploma for Purdue. Not many people can say, I graduated from Purdue.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Sometimes, I mean, that's just it. That's great advice. Is that basically set your sights, move in the directions that you want to, but basically give yourself a good base. And that you can always, because it's true. I mean, right now, I'm having fun.
Right.
I can basically afford to have fun in the comedy world, you know. And I see a lot of comics, especially the younger comics, you know, and I see what they're doing, and I see how hard they're working, and it's a tough field to really. I mean, you gotta give yourself at least 20 years, I think, to really make it. All right, I mean, to really to make it to the heights where some of these comics want to make it. Okay, in 20 years, I'm going to be 95. Okay. I mean, come on, you know, let's get, you know. So I'm happy. I'm happy to do what I'm doing,
right?
You know, and you know, it's the last chapter kind of thing. It's the last hurrah, you know. But it's here, and I'm doing it, and I'm enjoying it, right? And it's great that he has got that kind of base, because you're right. He can go ahead and he can do what he wants, and then the education and the base will always be there, and he'll be able to do something.
I'm sure that even you today, with your comedy and everything, you got all that background behind you, all that intelligence of how to do things a certain way, how to capture your audience, and how to put things together, and you got it all.
Well, exactly, and that's why I even have my website, cougarlicious.com. And there's a hyphens, cougar-licious.com. You could go onto my website. I already have a built-in website that will tell you everything that I'm doing, where I'm going, my background. I even have a little merchandise store that you can actually get little.
So you got all the little toys.
My little Cougarlicious store.
All the toys. Yes, you got all the toys. You want to get the toys, not for young kids, for adult toys.
You know, wine glasses and hats, and even underwear. So go to cougarlicious.com. Yeah, you're right, because I mean, I do have that background.
And if you're a veteran or a senior, you got a discount?
Oh, yes, you do.
Oh,
yes, absolutely.
You see that?
Hey. So who are your favorite comedians now?
Oh, goodness, there's so many of them. Well, number one, I really enjoy Sebastian Maniscalco. I enjoy Jim Gaffigan. As far as women, Chelsea Handler, Amy Schumer. Let's see, who else? I mean, there's just, I was just watching John Mulvaney. There's just so many. There's just so many.
You have any favorite TV shows that come on now that are comedies? Me and my husband are big fans of comedy before we go to bed, because we watch the news, and the news brings you down.
I don't watch the news anymore. I just watch
before
comedy.
We go to sleep, we have to watch a comedy. This is the way we are.
Well, you know, I love Ray Romano.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he has got, his writing is spot on. You know, everybody loves Raymond is always a good treat.
And we watch that still.
Yeah.
And King of Queens.
King of Queens is absolutely excellent. I like Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
I love 2.5 Men.
We do too.
I think, it's just definitely, you know, because I love Charlie Sheen and how the Charlie Sheen 2.5 Men.
Right.
Because I like how he basically self-deprecates himself there. I think it's very funny, but the writing is perfect.
Yeah.
There's just so many good ones.
Back in the old days, I used to love to watch Jackie Gleason.
And
what's the name? Lucille.
I love Lucy.
I love Lucy.
Yeah.
Lucille Arnaz.
Yes.
They were great.
And you talk about a woman ahead of her time.
Yeah.
She was another one.
Pretty much out of
Yes,
time.
yes, absolutely.
You know, I had the honor of spending 6 days with Eddie Murphy. You know, we were filming a movie together, and it was called Ice 5. Eddie Murphy and Owen Wilson, and we filmed it up in Vancouver. And I was every day 6 days we were together, and it was up in Vancouver. I can tell you that Eddie's not a comedian in his private life. He's just a
very quiet,
very humble, very cool. You know, nothing funny about him except when we're in the ring. In the ring, you know, we're in the ring. He tried to do some stuff. I said, listen, we can't do no comedy. And this is a real fight in the ring. We're a professional fighter in there. You got to punch him hard to the body. He said, I can't hit him hard. I said, Eddie, we're paying him. He's a professional fighter. He can take your body shots. I was showing him some stuff he had to do. He listened to me, man. We had so much fun. For me, it was like not a comedy scene, but it was so much fun just working with him, doing the boxing scene that we had in that movie I called Ice 5. You know, it was really.
I saw Eddie Murphy one time. He was talking about. his career, and he was saying how he was discovered at 19, and he was just doing what was natural to him,
Right.
and he thought everybody that happened to everybody. He had no idea. He was just basically doing what was coming normal and natural to him, and he was shocked. He found out that it really wasn't his. He skyrocketed to it was him, and then during those days it was Freddie Prinze that had a big skyrocket.
Antonio Hall.
Yeah. And they just very
He
quickly.
called me one day and said, Joe, I got a nephew who's a professional fighter. I want to see how we can help him out. I went up to Beverly Hills with him and a bunch of Sugar Ray Leonard was there. So many celebrities were there that night. I remember I ran across Cindy Crawford, who I met here in 1992. I met her here in Vegas. We became friends back then. I didn't see her until I saw her a couple of years ago up in Beverly Hills. And Eddie Murphy was there. He said, Joe, because he saw him with her. She was talking to me. She said, come on, Joe, I want you to meet my husband. And Eddie says, you know, Cindy? I said, yeah, I know Cindy. We go back 1992 in Las Vegas. When I first got to Vegas, we got to become friends here. It was just so much fun being around these celebrities. But Eddie Murphy, like I said, in private life, he's as serious as they come.
Very quiet, yeah.
I've been with him several times at different events. Very quiet guy, but he could be one of the funniest guys on the screen.
Yeah. It's just a natural gift that he has. And you're asking me also about other comedians. Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Jack Benny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Benny.
Well, we're going back a little bit.
Yeah, but I do remember those shows, absolutely. Yeah.
But one of my favorites was, again, like I said before, Jackie Gleason. He was just amazing.
Straight to the moon, Alice.
So what's happening now? So you got this event coming up now
On the 14th?
On the 14th.
14th and
It's
15th.
Friday, Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, 5:30 show. Keenan Presents. There it is, right there.
Okay.
Can't wait to
Laugh,
see
vote,
it.
and repeat.
And where's that location at?
That's at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club. It's at the link. It's in the Promenade. Okay. Do you know where the high roller is? The big roller, the big roller wheel, whatever that is.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly
it's
where
right.
it is, yeah.
It's like 2 doors down from that. It's a beautiful club. If you've never been there, beautiful
never
club. They got a
been
great
there.
lounge downstairs, and the club itself is just beautiful, and it's it's a good time. It's just a great time.
And the
We're
show
just
is
so
from
excited.
5:30 to what time?
5:30 to 7. Yeah, it's about a 90-minute show.
And then the Cougars take over after that.
Yeah.
Get to kiss the baby before 9:30. Yeah.
And it's always fun down the promenade too,
Yeah.
because it's a party street. There's just restaurants and shops, and of course you've got the casinos and all of that. It's a great time. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, so. And what else you want to tell our fans before we wrap it up? We have a few minutes ago. What else you want to tell them? I mean, the fans want to know, they say, wait a minute, Joe, you brought the young lady on the show, Donna Joy. She brings you a lot of joy.
Yes, she does.
That's why she has her last name, Joy.
Yes.
Now, what joy can you tell our viewers before we wrap it up?
What joy can I tell them?
Yeah, something joyful.
Something joyful. Okay, something joyful from Joy. Okay, a little word of joy.
Yeah.
Okay, from Joy. Just go out there and just be yourself. Go for it. Be happy. Be kind. Be kind to one another. That's what I can just say. And just go out and have a good time.
Yeah,
this
and
is-
use it
you are in a
before you
good
lose
ti-
it,
you,
right?
You use it before you lose it. Yeah, it's as simple as that. And be sure to just go on to my website. If you want to contact me, you can always contact me at donnajoy@cougarlicious.com. Be more than happy to share any words of wisdom, but come on out and see a show. I'm usually also at Wise Guys every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. They have a 7 o'clock show there. And then you'll also find me around town, and I always have everything posted, on my site. So
And so some of
check
our
that
viewers
out.
out there may want to know how they become a comedian. What direction can you give them with that?
how do you become a comedian? Well, you got to work at it, okay? You have to basically take a lot of advice. I would recommend, if you've never written comedy before, find a class or somebody who can mentor you, or get into a writing group. And just work at it and get on the stage and work your material. I work with my material every single week. I go to Wise Guys every week and work it out. So it's a little bit of work, but it's always a lot of fun, and you always make people laugh, and that's always the biggest reward, when you have people laugh.
I agree with you 100%. I always say, you have a good attitude, you get to a good altitude.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You have to come to Lola's sometime. You should come to Lola's and
I
hang out
am.
with us sometime.
Okay, can I
Please
do a few minutes?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
I would
I'll do
love
it.
that.
Then you got a deal.
Absolutely.
Come Saturday night. Can you come Saturday night?
I could, yeah.
Come
Yeah,
Saturday.
that
I
would be great.
Get
Come to Lola's.
Yay!
Lola's this Saturday.
That'd
As a
be
summer, the
wonderful.
downtown Summerlin.
Yeah, we will have a lot of people
Yeah, we have a
there
lot of fun.
that
Oh,
always
good.
come to see Joe.
Great.
I'll be there for a little
Joe's
bit.
Okay,
like
good.
the third part of twice as nice at Lola's. We're
Okay.
3 times as nice when Joe comes. So it should be fun.
Okay, guys,
See you there, Lola's.
See you soon. Keep your guards up at all times. Remember, we're fair, but we're firm. I mean, they used to say I was fair, but say I'm not firm anymore. I don't get it. See you soon.
Too much.